Welcome along to NRL Virtual Modern Sportscar Championship 1981 for round 9. Track temperature 38 degrees and it's dry out there tonight. Continues to improve from sector 2. Hero Paul Ibbotson tops the times, 2:03.5. Daniel Kirby, 2:03.2. trouble for Olivier Gervais in AM. Let's see what happens. Giving Piero Daniel Kirby now P1. Carl Schroer has problems in AM. Here's the replay. And we're back live. AM track with Dusty. Issues for Alan Holden in PRO. Watch the incident. We rejoin the AM action. James Boder's running P4. PRO. Daniel Kirby goes fastest with a 2:03.0. In AM, Olivier Gervais tops the times, 2:05.6. PRO and Holden in trouble. Let's see what happened. Back line in PRO. Norndrup now P7. Pierre Gervais has problems in AM. On the replay now. And we're back live. PRO Paul Ibbotson up to P2.
the VMSC. And as usual, we've got 15 minutes qualifying, preceded by 50 minutes qualifying, and then 2 30-minute races for the race. Dear Lord, let me make sure I've done this right. I think I did. Terrible thing to have to check. Oh, for crying out loud. Is right.
No,
It's the endurance race, yeah?
Does that say race?
It's the endurance race.
34
No,
minutes?
no, no one mentioned this to me until just now.
Yeah, none of us were looking until you said the race.
Yeah, I know. All right, so let me just do some magic here. So go around and do some more laps, folks, until I get this sorted out.
It's a one race, not 2 races?
It is 2 races. 2 races.
Okay.
I just
yeah, the server's only set
made
up
a bit
for
of a
one
mess
race,
of things. So I'm just going to sort that out now.
Yeah, 134. Okay.
right?
Yeah,
We're not doing that until
don't
next
worry.
Thursday.
Yeah, that's the next time around. So get this sorted out.
Just everything.
Boris and Natasha have nothing to do with this. This is all a moose in score.
Winkle?
That would be it. Yeah. Okay, everybody, I'm going to restart the rubber file we just generated is going to be effective. So just back to the pits, please, and I will restart. I'll just reload everything, and it should be fine. So while the track is loading up, I'll go back to it is 30 minutes worth of race with a 4-minute pace lap, so we get a good time around to come back up. We don't have to panic
That's
around
practice.
anybody get
On
excited.
to
So
practice.
34 minutes, first
164
4
minutes to
minutes of
dial in
pace
the
lap,
setup.
and
Clear
I
and
would
dry
have
to begin.
asked the
25 degrees
pole
ambient.
sitters to cross the start-finish line at the 30-minute mark. So we get 30 minutes worth of racing, and because the pace car is working here, we'll do it manually, and allow everyone to line up that way. Okay, no acceleration, no passing prior to the start-finish line for each of the pairs as you cross the start-finish line. And yeah, there we are. Race 1 will be a qualifying order from the Q session, and the qualifying or the session, the second race will be, of course, by the order of march in that crazy manner that I do, which is basically a reverse grid, and then the bottom 5 in this case will be scrambled to be the top 5. We don't have any penalties. The orange zone for the race is from the start through to T11, which is that kink in the back. And usual as applies there that you are racing, and so you can be passing. Just that if you cause an incident, there's going to be some additional penalty applied if you are found to be at fault by the stewards. Okay, blue flag. Hopefully everyone will be able to get through on the same lap. But if you are being blue flagged, just remember you don't have to get out of the way or cause yourself difficulty. Just run your race. That you don't not allowed to block or to compete with that car, however. And then for the car that's passing, just pick a good time and place to make your pass. Everyone get on with their race. You're at the same point on the racetrack, but different places in the race, and I think everyone will just remember that. For the racing surface, normal CMS rule. 1 wheel on the racing surface at all time. That includes the white line. And for this race, 2, 4, and 11A are designated as straights. So just remember that when you're going through those areas. Pit entry, make sure if you have to go to the pit, make sure you're well right coming out of T14 and get out of the way. And the normal, don't use the fast lane. Dive into your box and then dive back out. Remember the pit limiter. And when you're coming out and getting into turn 1, remember it is a bit odd there, so make sure that you stay inside the pit lane. And then as you come around T1, make sure you stay off the curbing so you don't get a track cut. Normal deal with escape. That ends your race, no points. Control-Alt-Delete or Alt-F4 or unplug your network cable to get yourself back in the race if you're having a problem. And you have to finish the race normally to get points, okay? We do have 2 races, so I hope that if you have a problem in the first race, you're coming back to join us for the second race. Any questions? Good. I will make myself the admin again.
Is Tom on the Discord? Because he jumped in the server sooner, but he's not here anymore.
Who's that?
He decided not to
Tom?
race. He was 3 seconds off the pace. He may have just said, screw it.
Oh, all right.
It could be. So we've got, we've got 11 drivers in total. Yeah, that's too bad. Okay, so I'm going to move us forward to the next session, which is the quali. Everyone's out there for 15 minutes.
Practice is in the books.
Have
On
a
to
good one,
qualifying
guys.
now. 15 minutes to find the limit.
Who bailed out?
Tom.
Welcome along to NARS Super Trofeo Cup for round 8. Good conditions to start with, dry track and 43 degrees on the surface. James Bowder's going for a time. Gilles Lalonde on a hot lap. Ibbotson keeps provisional pole in PRO after that lap. Cars through holes onto provisional pole in AM. No improvement for Gilles Lalonde in PRO, stays P2. That's the quickest sector one we've seen, Paul Ibbotson. PRO leader, Jatami 204.2, that's 1.16 quicker than Paul Ibbotson. Alan Holden moves up to P2 in class, 203.1. Olivier Gervais improves in AM with a 205.3. James Boders goes P3 in AM, 207.2. Paul Ibbotson improves his first sector to 44.8, a personal best. A 45.5 first sector for Gilles Lalonde, 0.7 seconds off the fastest so far and a personal best. Ibbotson sets a personal best through sector 1. That's Norm Draft's best sector 1 of the session, chasing Gilles Lalonde for P6 in class. Frank Radosti moves up to P4 in class 207.6. Here's the replay. We rejoin the PRO action. Alan Holden running P2. Good first sector for Norm Graf, a 45.4, 0.4 seconds off the fastest, but a personal best. Daniel Kirby lights up sector 1, 44.2, quickest of the lot and a personal best. Alan Holden through sector 1 in 44.3, 0.1 seconds off the quickest, but a personal best. Issues for Norm Graf in PRO. Let's see what happened. Backlive in PRO, Alan Holden now P2. Gilles Lalonde improves in PRO with a 206.2. James Bowders stays P3 in AM after that lap. In PRO, Daniel Kirby goes fastest with a 202.1. Alan Holden goes P2 in PRO, 202.8. Sector 1 for Olivier Gervais, 45.2, up on his own best. PRO and Holden in trouble. On the replay now. And we're back live, AM Olivier Gervais up to P2. Olivier Gervais improves in Sector 1. Paul Ibbotson cannot improve in PRO, remains P3. Tammy tops the first sector with a 44.5, quickest so far and up on his own best. A 45.5 first sector for Olivier Gervais, and that's a personal best. No improvement for Gilles Lalonde in PRO, stays P6. Sector 1 for Gilles Lalonde, 45.1, 0.7 seconds off the class best, but the personal best. Normgraf stays P7 in PRO after that lap. In AM, Olivier Gervais tops the times, 2:05.1. Two minutes to go. Frank Radosti through Sector 1 in 45.5, up on his own best. A 45.3 first sector for Normgraf, 0.2 seconds off the fastest so far, and a personal best. A 45.4 for Olivier Gervais through Sector 1, the quickest anyone has managed, and a personal best. A new personal best Sector 1 there for Gilles Lalonde. Karl Struhel cannot improve in AM, remains P2. Trouble for Olivier Gervais in AM. Watch the incident. We rejoin the PRO action, Gilles Lalonde running P6. No improvement for J. Tammy in PRO, stays P4. Pro qualifying done, and around 4.0 seconds separates pole from the slowest classified runner. Pro results, Daniel Kirby in the number 201 Lamborghini STC on pole with 2:02.1. Alan Holden second, Paul Ibbotson third. Now for AM, Olivier Gervais in the number 82 Lamborghini STC takes pole with 2:05.1. Karl Struhel and Frank Radosti complete the top three. Our coverage of NARS Super Trofeo Cup on Champion Motorsports comes to a close. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, everybody's in. Daniel, getting out there with a 2:02 with just a little bit of change left over. Nice lap. Alan picking up second, a little bit behind him, and then JT rounding out the top three. Olivier picking up the AM lead with just a bit over 2:05, and then Carl not far behind him. I squeezed myself between the two of them, and then Frank picking up third in the AM side. So we've got
Warm-up
10
session
minutes
underway.
and I'm going to go
10
check on the
minutes
Dirt
to
Thunder,
prepare.
so I'll let you have the full 10
Qualifying
minutes.
complete.
Hey James, sorry about the back straight there. I wasn't sure exactly.
No,
what you
that
were
was
talking about.
okay. I was about half a second off pace anyway. I tried to not hinder you too much. I know you had a pretty good run going.
This is NARS Super
Yep, that was
Trofeo
fine,
Cup,
thank you.
round 8. Track temperature 38 degrees, and it's dry out there for now.
Unfortunately, the stream lost telemetry from the cars.
Reset the server. Might have happened.
Yeah.
the mercury falling 40 degrees on the track.
Okay, everybody, last few seconds of practice. Once the session's over, if you just go back to pit, that'll get us going more quickly.
Issues for Daniel Kirby in PRO.
And I think it's Kirby. So it's young Mr. Kirby and young Mr. Holden. So Daniel Allen, if you'll just take us through. Remember, you've got 4 minutes for the pace lap, so plenty of time to do that. And get us in good order at about 100 kilometers an hour heading up the straight. And then everyone crosses the start-finish line. That's where we start racing. Seconds left.
You're watching NARS Super Trofeo Cup Round 8. And here we have the grid for today's race. 11 cars across 2 classes. Beginning with PRO. Daniel Kirby leads PRO in the number 201 Lamborghini STC. At P2, Alan Holden in the number 25 Lamborghini STC. Alan Holden on the move in PRO. Up to P2. Jay Tammy in the number 202 Lamborghini STC P3. P4, Paul Ibbotson in the number 165 Lamborghini STC. Matthew Overton, number 174 Lamborghini STC P5. Gilles Lalonde in the number 203 Lamborghini STC P6. P7, Norm Graf in the number 1 Lamborghini STC. Next up, AM. Top of AM, Olivier Gervais in the number 82 Lamborghini STC. At P2, Carl Struhel in the number 42 Lamborghini STC. Frank Radosti, number 404 Lamborghini STC P3. P4, James Bowders in the number 92 Lamborghini STC. Frank Radosti fights back, holds P4 and M. dry track as we get underway, ambient temperature 24 degrees.
Hey, everybody. Have a good race.
They're away. 11 cars now racing. 29 minutes at Grand Prix course. AM PRO. Here's Paul Ibbetson's pass on JT Tammy in PRO. 3 cars scrapping over P2, Paul Ibbetson, Alan Holden and J Tammy. Back living PRO, Matthew Overton, now P5. On board with Matthew Overton, catching the aim of Olivier Gervais. Olivier Gervais closing on the PRO of Paul Ibbetson. PRO leader, Daniel Kirby 206.9. Frank Radosti closing on the PRO of Norm Graff. And still right there in the fight for third in class, second lap of this scrap. Frank Radosti right on the gearbox, wheel to wheel, 0.3 seconds back. Gilles Lalonde all over Matthew Overton for fifth. On board with James Dowders chasing Frank Radosti for third. PRO, Daniel Kirby goes fastest with a 2:04.3. Ian Olivier Gervais tops the times 2:06.5. Paul Ibbotson all over Jay Tummy for third. The track temperature has moved to 4 degrees. Frank Radoski reeling in the PRO of Norm Graf. We've seen this PRO duel before. Paul Ibbotson back past JT Tummy. Back living PRO. And Jay Tummy is right in the thick of it. Jay Tummy has the edge on entry to the first sector. Great progress from Jay Tummy. Now P3 and PRO. Paul Ibbotson started P4 in PRO and has worked up to P3, one place made. Can he hold on to this podium spot? PRO Gilles Lalonde in trouble. Here's that PRO passed by Norm Graf on Gilles Lalonde. We're back live, AM Frank Radoski right in the mix. James Bowders climbs one position to P2 in AM. Norm Graf has found some pace in the last few laps. On board with JT Tummy chasing Paul Ibbotson for third. Daniel Kirby leads 6 laps in under pressure from Alan Holden for P1 in class. Jay Tammy still in the fight for 3rd in class. 2nd lap of this scrap. Nothing between them. J Tammy on the move in PRO, up to P3. J Tammy holds P3 in PRO. Another look at J Tammy overtaking Paul Ibbotson in PRO. We rejoin the AM order, James Bowders in a fast-changing fight. James Bowders closing on the PRO of Norm Graff. On board with Paul Ibbotson, chasing J Tammy for 3rd. James Bowders has problems in AM. Here's the replay. And we're back live, PRO, Daniel Kirby up to P1. On board with Paul Ibbotson, hunting Jake Tammy for 3rd. While we were elsewhere, Gilles Lalonde stopped on track on lap 4. We rejoin the PRO action, Alan Holden running P2. Alan Holden still in the fight for 2nd in class, 2nd lap of this scrap. through haul, running 78.7 seconds behind the car ahead. Daniel Kirby still in the fight for the class lead, second lap of this scrap. Daniel Kirby is making time through the middle sector. On board with Julie Londa, catching the AM of Frank Radosti. Issues for Norm Graff in PRO. On the replay now. Back live in PRO, and Alan Holden is right in the thick of it. Board with Gilles Londa, reeling in the AM of Frank Radosti. Gilles Lalonde right with the AM Frank Radosti now. Still no way through. Minutes remaining. Gilles Lalonde works past the AM of Frank Radosti. And Norm Graff drops out of the race from P7 in PRO. JT Tammy has cut the gap by 1.0 seconds. JT Tammy breaking deeper into the first sector. on board with Jay Tammy chasing Alan Holden for second. The gap is stretching out for Alan Holden. Watch the braking into the first sector. JT Tammy is later there. Five minutes left in the session. Alan Holden still in the fight for second in class, second lap of this scrap. Retirement for Alan Holden out of the PRO race from
Alan,
P2.
you disappeared and left.
Frank Radosti closing on the PRO of Jules Lalonde. Let's see Jay Tammy's move on Alan Holden from PRO. Back within PRO, Daniel Kirby now P1.
Sucks.
Carl Struwell closing on the PRO of Alan Holden. Alan Holden rejoins from the pits. Frank Radosti reeling in the PRO of Gilles Lalonde. Two minutes to go. The times are coming down for Gilles Lalonde. One minute remaining. Frank Radosti consistently faster through the first sector. On board with Frank Radosti, catching the PRO of Gilles Lalonde. Race complete. On to cool down. Daniel Kirby takes the PRO win, a first win for Daniel Kirby in the rounds we've seen. Second in PRO goes to Jay Tammy, a first podium for Jay Tammy since we started covering this season. P3 in PRO, Paul Ibbotson, his first podium since we've been watching. Victory in AM for Olivier Gervais. Runner-up in AM, Frank Radosti. Third in AM is
Thanks,
Carl
everybody.
Struhel. Matthew Overton,
everybody.
home P4
Well
in
done,
PRO.
Daniel, JT, and then
That's all
Paul
from
picking
NARS
up
Super Trofeo
P3.
Cup,
I think
brought to you by Champion
something happened to
Motorsports. Thanks
Alan,
for watching.
did you have a
Filling out the PRO order,
disconnect?
P5 Gilles de London.
Yeah,
On to the rest of the PRO field.
Yeah, and then
P6
Olivier picking
Alan
up the win
Holden.
in
Norm
fine
Graff,
fashion.
home P7
And then
in
Frank
PRO.
and Carl picking up
Filling
second
out the
and
M
third.
order, P4 James
Well
Bowders.
done, guys. I will now go about making my magic, and it'll be the... we'll keep the top 5 at the back, and it'll be the bottom 6 that'll do the rotation, since we only have 11.
Here, I got to reset my RF2. What's that? Broke my feet back.
He asked to do the math before or after you go out. I don't know.
Pardon me?
Alan has to reset.
Yeah, go ahead, because I won't be doing the grid until we're in warm-up, so you can go do that, and I will have to wait for you to come back.
Yeah, I'm coming back in now.
Yeah, no problem.
I finished the race with 0.2 left.
Yeah, go ahead, take a break.
What, Olivier?
I finished the race with 0.2 liter of fuel left.
Huh.
That's fuel management.
Yeah,
not a lot
0.53.
Not a lot of fuel left.
Did you get any help there, James, into your situation?
That was what was it? It was like 124 seconds in the pit. I had damage.
Wow.
No, I'm just kind of curious how that happened. I saw 2 people that I'm just wondering.
Norm lost it in the kink, bounced off the wall, and I didn't have anywhere to go, and he collected me.
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah, same thing with Mr. Strual. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, no, I spun and was in the middle of the track.
Kirby
Yeah,
won
no,
the last time the series was at
I'm
Grand Prix
sorry.
course this season.
wish.
On to practice,
I just
164 minutes to
lost it.
dial in the setup.
Broadside.
Dry
middle of the
conditions
track.
to start. 23
Sometimes
degrees in the
on
air and
situation
32
like that, it's
on the
better to
track.
just keep it in so it spins around.
I was wondering what was going on behind me.
I ended up last, and I came back.
There we go.
Yeah, we had a 3-car train going that passed that little kerfuffle there with Gilles and.
Oh yeah, I saw everybody
and,
go by because I was like, yeah, they're not that far behind. They're gonna, and plus
and then I got around Frank, and Norm and I started to pull away, and then he lost it in the kink and collected me. And it was one of those, I'm going to make it, I'm going to make it, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it crash.
Well, and then he spun I think his first lap out of the pits and the kink right in front of him. Well, it was in front of me, and I was worried. I guess I probably felt the same thing you did. But he got out of the way. He was out of the way, so I didn't hit him. So
yeah, he came in the pit behind me and he got out in front of me. Yeah, I think it was like I had like 124 seconds of damage to fix. I told my crew to only round off my fuel, and they gave me a full tank, so I was racing heavy when I came back out on track. I don't know what's, stupid.
you turned to 2:06.8 on your first flying lap after the pit stop.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Who am I missing?
That Frank is gone, or no, he's back. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, Frank's back.
3, 4,
Is it
5,
eight?
6,
No.
7, 8, 9, 10. I should have
No,
11.
it's Norm. Norm's gone.
Norm is still he's still on Discord.
No.
No, Norm's gone. Okay. All right. Well, I will. I'm just going to have to go take care of the Dark Thunder, and I'll come back, move things forward, and get things set.
JT, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry for the bump on the first lap.
It happens. These things are tough. I was
It's
more
fun
pissed about
racing.
the one in the turn one. Because that put me up on the curb, and instantly the track cut bar went full red, and it gave me a
Ooh.
timer to return the position back.
Yikes.
JT, do you have a new headset?
No, but I have a new mic.
Yeah. That's it.
Same difference. Paul, what happened to you? You were like 6 seconds ahead of me, and then I nearly cut you up at the bottom of the hill there.
Yeah, I had a couple little overdriving the car moments.
How were your
Trying to-
tires at the end?
I think they were okay. I was just trying too hard to keep up with JT the first half, and then I just turned down the fuel to lean and cruised a bit to make sure I made it home.
Hey, Carl, thanks for making it easy for me to get by you. I was trying to keep on going. I just ran out of race.
I was trying to keep up with you and the others in front, but you were just that bit faster. So I just slowed down a little bit and just managed the gap to Matthew behind.
Yep, that's what racing is sometimes, just managing it. I assume JT was probably lifting and coasting and still doing faster lap times than me.
At the end, or
He probably had a 64-ounce Stippy cup in one hand and a hot dog in the other.
Oh, by the way, Daniel, good run.
yeah, definitely.
Now the next race will be a little bit trickier because there is not much places to pass here.
So, Alan, what actually happened? Did you just get a disconnect?
Yeah, I just got a disconnect as JT was going up behind me. We just got a random disconnect. That's kind of odd. Got a connection loss and just gets me onto the server.
Yeah, I mean, your car had disappeared and immediately crew chief told me you'd left the race.
Me, I like that. Are you serious? You didn't know yet. Oh, that was.
Yeah, I
funny.
was still going to like the next sector too until it finally kicked me out of the server.
Okay, Dark Thunder's good to go. So I'll take us to the next section. Everyone hands off wheels. And I'll take
Practice
us to the
done.
next section.
The qualifying session is underway. 15 minutes on the clock. Qualifying done. The warm-up begins. 10 minutes available.
And let's send that chat. There we are. All right. That's good. So we got 10 minutes, everybody, to get yourself sorted out. In fact, does everyone need 10, or we can just do it for 5?
5's good.
5.
5's good.
3.
You're watching NARS Super Trofeo Cup, round 8.
That wasn't on
Good
the
conditions to start with.
table.
Dry track and 38 degrees on the surface.
.418.
Those campers on the left, they have beds on them.
I was looking at the tiny pedal fuel thing, and it was telling me I still had like 11 minutes left to go. But then crew chief told me that I had like 4 laps left to go, and it wasn't 11 minutes. So that tiny pedal thing doesn't take into account the X amount of fuel for the race, I think.
I think it does a pretty good job, actually. So I wouldn't be too hard on it.
I just use a calculator.
Yeah, same as well. I use a calculator for it.
Well, I calculated in my mind like 15 minutes at about a little bit in 2 minutes. It equals 15 laps, and a full tank is 16. So I figured I was good with a full tank.
And you are.
Yeah, I just had to manage it a little bit to make it to the end, but
Well, don't forget it's 34 minutes. And you got to look at where Daniel is too.
25 seconds left, so make sure you've got your racing setup all set to go. The grid's been reworked. We'll be on to the races. Everybody hands off the wheels and we go.
Warm-up complete. The race is next. Frank Radosti under pressure from James Bowders for the class lead.
What speed are you supposed to be going? About 100 kilometers?
Yeah, when you hit the start finish. So just time it so that we're coming up to, when you do the final corner, you should have about 15 seconds left, and then just pace up to about 100 to the start finish, and away we go. Okay.
Yeah, if you go around the lap, around 100 kilometers an hour, around the formation lap worked pretty good last time.
Take your time on the pullway.
This is NARS Super Trofeo Cup, round 8. Let's take a walk down the grid. 10 cars ready to race. First up, AM. At the front of AM, Frank Radosti in the number 404 Lamborghini STC. James Bowders in the number 92 Lamborghini STC P2. Carl Struhal, number 42 Lamborghini STC P3. P4, Olivier Gervais in the number 82 Lamborghini STC. And now, PRO. Leading PRO, Gilles Lalonde in the number 203 Lamborghini STC. At P2, Alan Holden in the number 25 Lamborghini STC. Matthew Overton, number 174 Lamborghini STC P3. P4, Paul Ibbotson in the number 165 Lamborghini STC. G. Tommy in the number 202 Lamborghini STC P5. Daniel Kirby, number 201, Lamborghini STC P6. Alan Holden, under pressure from Matthew Overton for second in class. Olivier Gervais passed Paul Ibbotson in the PRO. A dry track as we get underway, ambient temperature 23 degrees.
everybody. Have a good race out there.
Lights out and away we go. We're racing for 29 minutes at Grand Prix course. 10 cars across 2 classes. Alan Holden through in PRO. Now P1. Here's Alan Holden's pass on Gilles Lalonde PRO. Closing on the AM of Karl Struhol. And we're back live. AM James Bowder's right in the mix. On board with Matthew Overton, catching the AM of Karl Struhol. Paul Ibbotson has had over a minute this duel and still no way through. James Bowder's all over Frank Radosti for the lead. Still in the fight, Alan Holden keeps coming 0.3 seconds behind. On board now, catching the AM of James Bowder's. By James Bowder's and into clear air. Another look at JT Tummy overtaking Paul Ibbotson in PRO. 3 cars scrapping over P3, Jake Tummy, Matthew Overton and Paul Ibbotson. And we're back live. AM James Bowder's up to P2. On board with James Bowder's catching the PRO of Gilles Lalonde. James Bowder's gets it done. Into P1 in AM. That PRO passed by Jay Tammy on Matthew Overton. On board with Jay Tammy, catching the AM of Karl Struhol. Back to Jay Tammy running P3 in PRO. Jay Tammy gets by Carl Struhal, the AM car. The track is cooling, 44 degrees on the surface now. James Bowders closing on the PRO of Gilles Lalonde. Cars scrapping over P3, Daniel Kirby, G. Tammy and Paul Ibbotson. Cars scrapping over P2, J. Tammy, Gilles Lalonde, Daniel Kirby. PRO leader, Alan Holden, 206.0. That's 1.09 quicker than Jay Tammy. In AM, Olivier Gervais goes fastest with a 206.5. Up 3 places from his P5 start in PRO, Jay Tammy now runs P2. Let's see Jay Tammy's move on Gilles Lalonde in PRO. Join the PRO action, Gilles Lalonde running P4, 3 cars scrapping over P3, Gilles Lalonde, Daniel Kirby and Paul Ibbotson. James Bowders closing on the PRO of Jake Tammy. Another look at Gilles Lalonde overtaking Paul Ibbotson in PRO. Gilles Lalonde closing on the AM of James Bowders. Join the PRO order, Daniel Kirby in a fast-changing fight. In PRO, Alan Holden tops the times, 2:05.9. PRO leader, Jet Tammy, 2:05.4. Frank Radolski closing on the PRO of Gilles Lalonde. Carl Struhel all over the back of Frank Radowski in this battle. On board, wheel to wheel for second. And Frank Radowski in trouble. Watch the incident. On board now, chasing Carl Struhel for second. Back live in PRO, Daniel Kirby now P3. On board with Daniel Kirby chasing G. Tammy for second. And still right there in the fight for second in class, second lap of this scrap. Daniel Kirby is under relentless pressure here. We're at the halfway mark, 18 minutes left. Daniel Kirby still in the fight for second in class, third lap of this scrap. That's where Daniel Kirby is making time through the first sector. Libertson has problems in PRO. Matthew Overton is in trouble in PRO. Here's the replay. And we're back live. PRO Daniel Kirby up to P3. On board with Daniel Kirby, hunting Jay Tammy for second. Quicker laps now from J. Tammy on board with Daniel Kirby, still after JT Tammy for second. J. Tammy moves into P1 in PRO. Here's that PRO passed by J. Tammy on Alan Holden. Returning to J. Tammy in P2 in PRO. Change in PRO. G. Tammy is now P1. Once more, J. Tammy clears Alan Holden in PRO. Backlive in PRO, and Alan Holden is right in the thick of it. Alan Holden all over J. Tammy for the lead. And still right there in the fight for second in class, second lap of this scrap. Daniel Kirby is quicker through the first sector. Trouble for Frank Radosti in AM. Let's see what happened. And we're back live, PRO, Daniel Kirby right in the mix. Daniel Kirby all over Alan Holden for second. Daniel Kirby has climbed 4 spots in PRO since P6 to currently sit at P2. On board with Alan Holden, chasing Daniel Kirby for second. Here's the replay. Join the AM order, James Bowders in a fast-changing fight. On board with James Bowders, catching the PRO of Hugh Lalonde. 10 minutes left in the session. Alan Holden looking for a way past Daniel Kirby in this duel. James Bowders closing on the PRO of Gilles Lalonde. Gilles Lalonde extending the lead. The first sector is where James Bowders pulls away. On board with Daniel Kirby, chasing Kate Tammy for the lead.
Thanks.
No problem.
And there's Frank coming up. No, it's
No,
Olivier.
that's me.
That's Olivier. Well done, Olivier.
Not really,
Victoria
but
JT
oh well.
taking the win over Daniel and Alan, the pro side, and then it's James picking up the win over Carl and Olivier. So there we are.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you guys for coming out, racing both races. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for putting it on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, good run, JT. Yeah, we could hear it. You guys exchanged a few times.
Yeah,
it was great
Chief
racing,
letting
Daniel.
us know.
These cars suck.
God, I just had that one slide coming into the penultimate corner, and it just killed my tires for the rest of that race.
Yeah, it does that. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun, JT. That was awesome.
That was
Yeah,
good
man.
running, Jill.
Yeah, that was cool. I think I had a little less wing than you.
Yeah. Yeah, once you got in front of me, I was just using up that tasty draft to just keep my lap times down.
I think I was using 4.
Yeah, you were definitely less than I had.